Right, so I'm joined by the fantastic Lee Jennings with his exceptionally, well, green hair. I mean, that is really green. That is like
I
Ninja
know
Turtle green hair.
it's pretty crazy, right?
Yeah.
You would
So,
think, being born with green hair, maybe eventually it would fade, but it has not so far in my many years of life.
but as I said, Lee Jennings of the fantastic funeral project Portrait. Bear in mind, if I say project, it's because I've got this mental block in my head that wants me to say that.
It's
So
fine,
I'm
it's
going to
fine,
train
it's
myself
okay.
throughout this interview not to do that. Anyway, Lee Jennings of the funeral portrait. Check me out, I got it right. Now, I understand your latest release, Skinny Lies, touches on, some painful truths, as a result of a crumbling relationship. Um,
Yes.
could you share, like, what made you turn something that's actually quite tragic, actually, into a subject of a song?
Yeah. So I think for us, we really wanted to touch on a little bit of some actual feelings of going through the pain of these little lies that you tell yourself or you tell your partner or you tell your friend or whatever, and they kind of just keep building and building and building, and then eventually they just all boil down to one giant conversation, and you kind of lose it. It turns into something a lot bigger than it ever should have been.
Okay. Now, Skinny Lies, you've sort of described it as quite lyrically dark, and also
Mhm.
quite an emotionally raw track. Now,
Yep.
how do you approach playing songs such as this, in a live environment, especially if they can, imbibe, similar negative feelings? Does that ever affect you while on stage or playing?
I think for me, anytime that we sing a song or we play a song that's a little bit more personable, which are most of them, I think for us it's about, we kind of treat it like a therapy project, right? So some days it just feels good to just sing it and just perform it in front of a bunch of people, right? And it's
Yeah.
just like kind of having your emotion out there in front of everyone.
Cool. Now, the deluxe edition of Greetings from Suffocate City. So I'm really tongue tip twisting myself today. Like, this is a
You're
really
fine, you're
bad show
fine.
of
I get
me.
it.
The
We
deluxe
do make
edition.
it a little hard for everyone. I do know that. So,
Yeah, it's cool. Of Suffocate City, it sort of adds three new tracks, including Skinny Lies. Um, Now, what made you decide you wanted to, release a deluxe version rather than actually work towards a full new release?
I think for us, we're not ready to move on yet, right? I think it took us so long to get here and get to release this record. We wanted to just add a little bit more flavor and a little bit more excitement around the record. It's got some, it's funny because there's three brand new songs, which two of them we wrote literally just for this, and one's like an actual B-side. And then there's a live version of Suffocate City. There's an alternative version of Stay Weird, and there's a like a demo version of our song Alien on there too, which is included. And for us, we didn't want to move on fully, and I don't think we even still do for maybe another year. I think for us, we've worked so hard for this moment and what we're going through and what we're doing right now that I think, and we're still on tour supporting this record. It grows every day, right? So there's new people finding it. So just because someone discovered it last September, doesn't mean that, for someone else it can't be brand new. So for us, I'd like it to kind of grow a little bit for the story to tell, that we're building to grow. And then we can we'll see when the time is right to move on.
Cool. Now, you mentioned, or we've mentioned the three additional songs, the three brand new songs. What made you pick these specific ones to include on the album? Because, and I might be completely wrong with this with you guys, but in my experience, bands usually have a huge catalogue of music that that either didn't fit with an album previously or were B-sides, as you say. What made these ones fit this record specifically?
Yeah, so I guess for us, we wanted to continue with the theme, right? So they're very personable, right? And there's a song called Lost Boy, which we wrote. That's oh my God, we wrote that in 2020, And that one, I mean, that one is one of those that I just didn't want. I don't think any of us wanted it to be lost forever, right? Lost boy, lost forever, haha.
Yeah.
But I think for us, we it's kind of funny because we got actually when we first started playing back like past COVID, right? We played Lost Boy live a few times, and it was always fun. It just when it was time to pick songs for the actual record, it didn't feel like it fit in the order of things. So we needed to find, well, what do we do with it? Do we just keep it for later? What exactly do we do? So we needed to just hold off. So we held off, and then I'm glad that we did because I'm excited for people to hear it because I think it's a song that really needed to come out. I just think it was about the timing, and that's the same thing with for Evergreen and Skinny Lies. I think Evergreen and Skinny Lies we actually wrote last year, and those we were gonna maybe hold off for a new record or whatever. We were just writing, right? And to see what stuck. And both of those two songs stuck really hard. And we were like, oh, no, 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 no. Like, they need to come out now. So let's just throw them on the deluxe edition.
Cool. Now you've actually collaborated with quite a few big names, actually. Spencer, I can never say his name, Channings and Ivan
Yeah.
Moody.
Yep.
Just to name a couple, I think there's like three or four people you've
Oh, yes. We've
collaborated
got a
with.
lot. We've got a lot of features on the record.
What made you pick these specific people, and how did these collaborations come about? Because a good collaboration really just, for me, I suppose, highlights that song within the record. So what was it about these particular guys that you wanted to work with?
For us, we wanted something that was a little different, right? And it kind of was a little bit more broader because we have like Burt McCracken from The Used on a
Yeah,
song, right? And then we've got Spencer and then we've got Ivan, and we've got a few others. We have Danny Worsnop from Asking Alexandria. We've got these versions of songs, like Lilith on Hers for Two and these kind of things. And
that was
like
the one.
for us, we really um wanted something a little different, and here's the deal is like the new way of getting your band seen and heard is by doing these collaborations, right? So for me, us being able to get the opportunity to do these collaborations, it was just a no-brainer, and for us too, we wanted someone a little, so we'd like in the old school emo, right? So that was like the Used, like with Bert, right? And then the new school emo would be like Spencer Charnas, from Ice Line Kills, and then like the more active rock legacy act, that's Ivan Moody from Five Finger Death Punch,
Yeah.
right? And so for us, and then, we really wanted, it was funny because the original version of Hearst for Two, I wanted a female vocalist on it, but Lilith wasn't available at the time. And it was one of those things that she couldn't get it done fast enough because that song almost, excuse me, that song almost didn't make it on the record. And the last second they added it on the record. So it's pretty cool to hear it and to see it, come to full life, with the deluxe edition.
I mean, I'll say the song you did with Lilith is absolutely spectacular. I don't know, there's always something about a female vocalist that adds that extra depth
Yes.
when accompanied by like someone like yourself. Now, obviously you're a fan of collaborations, so I want
Yep.
to know who would you love to collaborate with? And this can go absolutely anywhere,
Yeah, of
living or
course.
dead.
It's funny because I keep saying because that question does come up a lot, right?
Yeah,
Because for us, it's
it's a
well,
popular
it's a
question.
modern, well, it is, and it's a modern day question too because everybody's collaborating nowadays. So for us, we talked about it. I think we dream of working with Danny Elfman. He did like all the soundtracks for
Yeah.
the Batman or for Nightmare for Christmas or basically any Tim Burton movie, he has done, the sound designer soundtrack for it. And so for us, it's like the songs and even his solo music that he does or all the other things that he does for us is something that we feel like would be perfect, and it would just be different and unique. And I think that's what we want to do for the next record is I'd rather collaborate on stuff like that than even maybe even a vocalist. So
I think that'd be really cool, actually. That became, you know, the funeral portrait, operatic style almost. I
yes,
could get down with that
exactly.
because
Yeah,
some,
and I think the next record will be a little bit more theatrical. It'll be a little bit more bigger, and I think that's something that we really want to work on is to make sure that the next stuff we do is bigger.
yeah.
So,
I mean, I think some of the best like things that or styles that people can come up with are styles that don't fit sometimes, and you make them fit, and they're spot on. I love it. Now you're hitting some major festivals. One big one for me, you're coming to the UK for Download Festival.
Yes, we are. We
Uh,
are.
Now you're also touring with Ice Nine Kills this year. What part of the live experience and touring do you find most enjoyable?
I think for me, I think a lot about the of course the performing's fun, but I think it's the after meeting everyone, getting to like talk and getting to like kind of, just have a good time with everyone and get to hear their stories and what the songs mean to them. I think that's so important to us.
Now, I've already mentioned, you're coming to Download Festival. So, if there's one right answer here, what festival are you looking forward to coming to most? Bear in mind, like this interview is going out to well,
It is
globally,
it
but
is
to the people of the UK.
Yeah, I think for us it is download though. We are doing a lot of festivals, but I think that is the one that we're really, really excited for. I mean, that's going to be our first show outside of that's outside of North America. We've toured in Canada, we've toured in, of course, the States, but like that is our first show ever outside of North America. So that's a big deal for us, and I think it's going to be really cool to experience it.
Do you know what? I did actually wonder about that because when I was doing a bit of research, I was like, surely they've played somewhere else. But no. So I will do my best to actually come and see that live show. But if it doesn't happen, because I'll be busy doing things like this, will you at least come and have a chat with me?
I would
We'll
love
talk
to.
festivals.
Yes,
Amazing.
yes, I'm super in. So, and for us, we're really lucky because we do get to come back to Europe and UK in November, December with that band, the Rasmus.
Yeah.
So for us, it's like this is like a little taste and just exciting little, we fly in on the 13th, we play the 14th, and we leave the 15th. So it's very like fast. We're going in, we're getting a little taste, and then we fly right back home.
I suppose it's the life of travel. Everyone thinks you're traveling, you're going to see these cities, you're going to do this. No, you fly in, you get to the show, you fly out pretty much.
Yep,
The
exactly.
dream has been crushed for me,
Yeah.
essentially. Now
It's
something that I
hey,
think is
but
really
but you get to do this. I mean, this is fun. This is super fun.
Yeah. But something that I think is really cool that you're doing, you're doing a giveaway actually, I think. It's for your hometown rock ritual concert. Now, this is actually to support the Trevor Project. Now, I'll be honest, I know
Yes.
nothing about this. It's probably because it's more America based.
Yes.
Can you tell me a little bit about this and why you're supporting the Trevor Project and what it actually means to you?
Yeah, so for us, we wanted to do a fun little giveaway. So in our hometown, we always do these very like elaborate shows. We make them a little bit larger than life and make things a little bit more fun and crazy, and so we need to kind of do that with the Atlanta show. And so we're doing like a giveaway where you get to come out on stage and I get to baptize you on stage. It's like a whole moment. Oh yeah, it's a whole thing. It's a whole thing. So for us, we were like, let's do it. Let's go full out, and let's raise money for a great charity. And so the Trevor Project is basically like an LGBTQ plus like charity to like help young adults and teenagers, that kind of get displaced when say like their parents are mad that they come out as gay or bisexual or something and they disown them, right? Well, they help like the teenagers and young adults that don't have that support, and don't have that supportive family. And for me, I have a very supportive family. I think almost everyone in this band does, and so we understand what it's like, the privilege of having such a supportive family, that we wanted to do something to help people that can't have that and don't have that.
That's really cool because I mean I think at the moment that's a really important thing to do because regardless of how far we've come with the LGBT community, there are times that it's actually starting to feel like there's people are taking a step back from
Yep.
that
Well, especially
progress.
here. I mean, it's hard here in the States. Things are kind of up and down, right? And even if things aren't really fully changing, it's scary to think about it, right? Because
Yeah.
that's it too, is I talk to kids every single night. And as much as the laws really haven't fully changed yet, or they're slowly changing, it still is very scary. So that's the idea, is what it is most of it's scare tactics and all that kind of stuff. But it's hard for them to deal with it every single day. Or like I said, they go out into their family and the family disowns them or whatever it is. They only have each other or whatever it is now. And it's like, that's what the Trevor Project kind of does is it kind of takes people under their wing and try to help them and try and figure out, what they could do to help it. And again, I grew up being bullied my whole life, and that's kind of what the whole story is of the Trevor Project is, with Trevor Project is Trevor, I guess the kid, he committed suicide, after being bullied for being different. Literally, that's all it was, is being different.
Yeah. I mean, it's a really big thing. I mean, oh, but this is really bad of me because there was a situation in the UK years ago. Sophie something.
Okay.
Yeah, and basically her and her boyfriend were attacked in a park,
Uh,
brutally beaten and shit. Sophie Lancaster.
oh, okay, okay.
If you look it up, you will see how much of a hit this was, but they were beaten up
Yeah.
just because of who they were.
Yep.
So I think a lot of people, stateside UK, all over the world can relate to that. So I think it's a fantastic thing that you're shedding some light on it and, supporting it. So
Yeah.
yeah, the more power to all of things like that. Now, I just want to move on slightly. Now, if someone was discovering the funeral portrait for the first time through Skinny Lies, what do you hope they'll take away and from the first impression of the band? Because I think, you're coming to the UK soon. Now you will have fans, but
Yes.
it's the first time, so there will be people just going, let's go, like, let's just wander into this. I think
They
you're
were
playing the
playing the
Dogtooth
tent.
State. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and
What, like
that
under the tent?
is
Yeah.
for festival goers, especially in the UK, just wandering into that tent and going, we don't know who these are, let's hear them. Because when you're buying a ticket for a gig, you're going to see that band. This is a different
Yep.
experience. So, what do you hope someone will take away from that first impression?
I think for us it's the show, right? Because even if it's like just talking about that, like listening to the band for the first time, you're like, oh, okay, this is cool. Like I can get into this. But for us, we're such a live band. That's why we tour so much, is because the show is half of the thing, right? So like for us, it's the theatrics, it's the fun bits, it's the crowd involvement, and that's what we're gonna bring. We're gonna be playing the same set that we're playing right now, and it's gonna be over the top, and it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be just a good time, but this time it's
Yeah,
inside of a tent, in the middle of the day, and it's just gonna be. I really think people are gonna enjoy the show, and I'm excited to see what everybody says. I'm very nervous, because again, it's different than playing a big show here, right? Because it's like, oh, okay, but this, it's like, I I don't know where I even am. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like it's so different, so far from home. It's so far from everything that we know, that it's like, okay, let's just try it. Let's do it.
Yeah. Well, I think you'll be fine in the UK as long as the British public have either got a beer or a cup of tea.
Yeah,
You're absolutely laughing, mate. And the
I love that. I'm
bonuses
excited.
playing in a tent. We have two types of weather in the UK: blazing hot or torrential rain. Download is affectionately known as drownload
That's what
because.
I've heard.
So if you're in a tent, you're going to get a good crowd because people are trying to get out of the rain, and that way you're going to earn some good fans, sir. You will. Um, Now, I just want to end on one more question. This is probably another regular, but I still love this kind of question. I call it Tales of Touring Terror. And I love to hear stories about something that's been crazy that's happened to you or the band on tour, something gross, something embarrassing, or something that could potentially you throw a member of your band under the bus,
Oh
figuratively
wow.
speaking, not literally.
Oh, I mean, literally, I could too, but no, no, it's just, no. I think for us, we've had some crazy, especially lately, some crazy like fan stories too. Some like people trying to like, some people trying to like get into like our RV while we're like there, like trying to just like meet us or like hang out with us. Like that's been kind of crazy. But I think lately it's super funny. So, we at the beginning of this tour, we were playing a show, and while we were on stage, this couple snuck into our green room because the door didn't lock, and they had sex in our bathroom, the green room bathroom. And we come back to find them in there, and we like bang on the door, they open it, and they're like basically like, can I help you? And we're like, yo, like this is our area. Like what is going on? And it turned into this whole bit where like everyone started screaming at each other, and because they were like, "What do you mean? Like we can't be in here?" It was like no, this is our green room. Like this is just like a public area to hang out. Like it literally said what it was. You know what I mean? Like it said like do not enter. You know what I mean? So it was a whole funny bit. So I think that was the craziest story so far.
See, I kind of dig that. Like it's do not enter, and they're going, "Can you not see the sign? It says do
Yeah.
not enter. Do you mind?" Now that is entitlement to the next level.
Yes.
And bizarrely enough, I mean, obviously at the time you must have been a bit pissed off, but you can't help but laugh at something
Oh
like
yeah.
that.
Now it's funny.
So
Now we'd laugh about it for sure.
yeah. Anyway, Lee, I want to thank you so much for chatting to us today. It has been an absolute pleasure. I'm really looking forward to hopefully catching you at Download if I can
Yes,
get away
please.
from my other duties.
Of course, of
If
course. I think we
not,
play at like 4 o'clock or something like
yeah.
that. So,
So, touch wood, I might get that
yep.
kind of break. Hopefully, we'll get a chance to chat as well while we're there
Yes, if not, I
because
1000% want to chat and meet in real life. So,
cool. Excellent. Lee, it's been a
all right,
pleasure.
my
Good
friend,
luck with everything that's going on, and I'll
I'll
see
see
you
you
in
in
about
like
a
a
month.
month. All right, later, my
Amazing.
man.
Cheers, mate. Bye.